Pannoni, again, has done excellent work for us in the past. They'll turn over the project very quickly in terms of design, and they've done so at a reasonable cost. So, back to you, Jim.
By getting us this much closer, this does get this project shovel ready. We did submit for it within the Tiger Grant proposal as part of the overall the parking deck, signalized optimization in this area of downtown, and the improvements to Lincoln Place as part of our Tiger Grant proposal. We're waiting to hear back from the federal government. Hopefully we can get Obama bucks, but we understand that for every dollar that they're doling out, there's 50 hands trying to get it. So we're still advocating heavily, working with our delegation, our federal delegation, to try to get those dollars to fund for this, but we will know shortly whether that's going to happen or
not. We talked last year, and this is a good step in the right direction in that when initially we had the sanitary sewer work in the proposed capital budget, our worry was you're going to tear up the road and how long before the next step. So the key thing we've been talking about is let's get all our ducks in a row, because once we start digging, we've got to see this project all the way through, and we really can't start digging until we know what the full project is. So Pannoni's work will take care of stuff underground. It'll give the survey information we need to make some decisions as far as going forward with the full design, and it'll keep us going on track. We don't know exactly when the train leaves the station, though. In a way.
Well, the hope is to get that information before the budget is finally approved.
Yeah. Right. So we can.
And go ahead.
So, the question is then, are we going to have those numbers by March 18th? Okay.
By March 18th?
Yeah, well, that's the capital budget discussion.
We can certainly push for that. The final design plans and construction documents would take another month, I would suspect.
Oh, we have a cost estimate.
But
Yeah,
cost
we
estimates
need the
are what
cost
we need.
estimates is what we need.
The other thing is, and I thought you were in that meeting, this is a priority street, as is Lincoln Place for PSE&G, the gas lines, as well as, it turns out, Pomeroy Road. So before that's all reconstructed, Bob, I know you were there because you
Yes.
said it's got to be done within
Well,
the
I
next
was the
2
one that
months.
pulled them off the road that we just
Yeah.
paved and said, you gotta go someplace else.
Right, right. So, this is just as the opportunity is there. So, and also to have them pay for some of the cost of this
That
project.
is true. They've contributed significantly to milling over the cost for the past year and a half, 2 years.
Jean?
Yeah. Jim, during this process, have we worked with the post office, and what kind of discussion have we had with the post office? Any suggested improvement on their part?
We've had some discussions. It was interesting. I think I'm talking out of turn. I've mentioned it to most of you. The postmaster mentioned the possibility of wanting to move more of his operation back into his building, and he may come to the planning board at some point. We walked around that building. There is a beautiful opportunity to have circulation around that building if it were constructed properly, which would really alleviate even more of the traffic concerns on there, because people could pull in, go around, have a drop box in that circulation and continue out, or pull around and actually have parking on that space. There's a fair amount of space on that lot for parking. It's just not laid out that way. So if they were to come to planning board and ask for maybe some more density and the ability to build out, I'm sure the planning board would come back and say, great, this is what we think would work as a benefit. So they're in the process of thinking that, and that would be another great piece to the puzzle of really making the street even better.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. So we'll continue in the discussion.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
Bob, who talks to PSE&G about kicking in some dollars?
I can certainly initiate that discussion and with Mr. Cody as well.
And when Panini, Jim, when Panini comes to us, or we go to them, is that when? Pannoni, I'm sorry. I'm half Italian and I can't even do it. Horrible. It's, God, I'm glad my mother's not here. When we go to them and say we'd like to have this project drawn up, who negotiates the price?
Well, the price of working with them, that price is negotiated already in terms of the contract cost. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah. In other words, what I'm saying is, I think Bob, I may be incorrect, but I thought Bob said, or maybe it was you, that said they've done work with us before, Bob? So if we've done work with them before, do we get a discount? Bob?
If you're involved in a negotiation, I suppose that possibility always exists. They have already trimmed down their price for me once. I'll say that, because the proposal that we sought for a similar project a year ago was a higher number. And so they have sharpened their pencil on it once. I can always go back and ask again.
Yeah, the only reason I asked this, and this may seem extremely minor, but, you know, everybody's dying for business, you know? And I know in my own private sector, I see it every day. So I guess what I'm trying to pass on is the sense of something that Sam said earlier. You know, let's get it done right, but let's try and save every penny we can. Because eventually, if you save enough money, you get my point, right?
Sure.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Yeah, and I think you've got to give Bob credit here that,
Yeah.
you know, you're looking for the best professional services to do the type of job that knows
Absolutely.
our community, knows our expectations. We certainly put them through the ringer with the sidewalks on, or at least the one person who was now with Pinoni, who was, well, it was with another firm, but he knows our expectations. And also, you look for expertise in different firms. Some firms are great at parks, some firms are great at water lines, some are great at streetscape, and Pinoni, I will say, has a terrific track record, if you'll pardon the pun again, with DOT and New Jersey Transit, and they're certainly effective partners in this. And it was one of the reasons we worked with Project Public Spaces, is also their familiarity and their close relationship with DOT and New Jersey Transit. And when people see that kind of input, it helps us, hopefully, in getting grants and getting enhancement money going forward, so.
If I may, well, I mean, it's a beautiful concept, and I wish we could put it together, hope we could put it together. But talking about the New Jersey Transit, if you look, when you go to Post Office, just look at that trestle, the concrete. I mean, we got a beautiful train station, spent a lot of money, it looks beautiful, the shrub, but the concrete is cracking, you know what I'm talking about, Bob? In other words, in the trestle up top there?
It's an old building.
So in other words, if we're gonna do this beautiful thing, I think, you know, that whole trestle gotta be either washed down, power washed and patched up with some bonding cement, because like I said, you take a look at it, it's chipped all over the place and chunks of concrete are out.
This municipality has a tremendous dialogue with New Jersey Transit. We really do spend a lot of time giving them feedback on the issues that we have along the rail line. And whether they respond to it or not, I think they respond reasonably well. Certainly in proportion to many other municipalities, I think that have similar issues. So I'm happy to forward that issue to them for consideration. I know that they've done a renovation on the building recently and probably don't want to go back and modify that, because it's a complicated process getting historic preservation and a number of other entities involved. But I think, as I said, we have a very good dialogue with New Jersey Transit, and those requests can certainly be forwarded to them.